Hello, today is, I don't know what today is. It's my 100th show. So today, welcome to On Air with Russell of Hotels. I do appreciate you joining me. Normally I have this long, drawn out intro, but today, because I got so many important people here, I can't wait. The one person has to get off in like 10 minutes because she has an appointment, although she knew she had to do the show. But anyway, that's okay. But I want to thank everyone for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels. Today is my 100th show. Who would have thought that I would even do one show, but 100 shows and counting, hopefully. So thank you so much for joining. We got a star-studded, crowd today. I'm gonna name some people here, just the people that are here now. I have my showrunner. I got to name her first. My showrunner, my producer. She took over for when I left the other radio show, so she's the new Ronin. So that's my sister Marsha Edmonds. She's up top. Um, she's a she has nothing to do with travel other than she loves to travel. That's it. That's she's been to every Caribbean island on a cruise, known to man, islands I never even heard of. She's been to. So we may get a perspective from her. But she's a teacher, so that's we're celebrating International Women's Month, and I have no, I can't, I don't have to look far to find some women that are influential in my life, especially in my family. And then the main one would be my mom first and foremost, then my sister Marsha. Okay, so but I want to thank my mom, and I know she's watching and listening, because she actually we're gonna dedicate the show to her as well. She's a sponsor. Mom's actually kicked in some money for the show, right? So mom, Miss Loretta Edmond out in Blythe, California. She told me I couldn't laugh when I mentioned Blythe, California. So I'm gonna try not to laugh. But anyway, so thank you so much, Mom. I do appreciate everything that you've done and all the words of encouragement and things like that. I love you. Thank you so much. And then my sister Marsha, thank you so much for doing what you do for us and the family and my show and all that stuff, and always been a constant supporter. Then we have Sarah. Is it Dendashi or Dandashi, right?
I say Dandashi.
Dandashi. Oh,
Dandashi.
good. Then if you say it, then okay, Sarah Dandashi. Okay.
Dandashi. Easy.
She is. Go tell them who you are. Let's just tell them who
Oh,
you are.
oh, okay. Well, hold on. I have to clear this. I'm kidding. Whoa. So I'm Sarah Dandashi behind the brand Ask a Concierge. I happen to be here in South Florida right now for a conference that's coming up with the Mr. Scott Eddy. So he decided to join us today in honor of International Women's Month because
Yeah, he's a
because
woman, but yeah, but
well, he's awfully supportive.
now he is. But one thing about Scott, you guys don't know. Scott and I worked on a project together about 3 or 4 years ago, and I've got to know him very
2015.
well. And was it 2015? God, I didn't
Yes,
realize it was
sir.
that darn long ago. But yeah, so he's a great guy. He's known all around the world. He just came from Kenya. Just think about it. He's been to Kenya during this whole pandemic, but he's been out there making some
Casually.
things. He's been out there making some things happen, and he's showing the beauty of a lot of places. He has his own show. Can you just tell him the show that you have, Scott, if that's okay?
Yeah.
It's Video Globetrotter. It's the first travel series that's on Lifetime. Obviously, it was put on hold. We filmed and got the first episode filmed before the pandemic. We premiered during the pandemic. It got put on hold, and coincidentally, a half hour before this, I just got an email from the studio, and we have a call tomorrow to talk about the next 3 episodes. So it's coming back. I just don't know
It's
the
all
dates yet.
coming back.
Wow,
All good stuff. Ooh, we got more people
that's
joining
great.
the party.
Congratulations, Mr.
Thanks, bro.
Scott. I do thank you so for hijacking.
Welcome back.
I've seemed to have lost some people here. I don't know what happened, but we just continue to go on. So we just brought in. I'm bringing in 2 more people. Oh my goodness! Can you hear me, ladies, Kat and Marilyn?
I can hear you. Thanks for having us. Can you hear me?
Some Can you hear me? Are they
I
there?
can hear you.
Are you guys there?
Yes.
Marilyn, can you hear me? Oh, okay. Very good. Kat,
I
you're
can
there?
hear you.
Okay, very good. So, okay. Thank you so much, Scott. And okay, so we're muting our mics, and then when I call you, then you can introduce yourself. So, Miss Leslie Butler, or Dr. or Professor Leslie Butler, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello. Well, I was on your show one other time, Russell, but Russell and I are classmates from Cal Poly Pomona, and I'm currently a lecturer there at the university, teaching in the Collins College of Hospitality Management. And I've been doing
Very
that
good.
for
Thank you so much. So,
quite some time.
yes,
Go
you
ahead.
have been. And yeah, I'm glad that you're here because we need to take of a professor, that's molding young minds that want to come into this industry. So it's going to be interesting to hear your question. And for people that are chiming in now, I mean, the whole premise of this is that for them to ask me a question, not for me to ask them a question. Okay, so that's the whole beauty of this 100th show. I could have done it the way I normally do, but go from script, but that's not what I'm about. I'm about trying to push the envelope somewhere. So we're gonna push it today. Hopefully the questions aren't too hard because I don't have my thinking cap on right now. So so hopefully the questions are not too hard or too difficult. But thank you so much, Dr. I call you Professor Butler. Okay, is that all right?
You can, but I'm not a doctor. But that's okay.
Professor is okay. Professor, okay.
Well, okay. That's a little lenient on the. But that's okay. If you want to call me Professor, you can call me whatever.
Leslie,
yes.
Stop. Okay, just say yeah. That's fine.
That's fine.
Thank you, Miss Michelle Carlin.
Oh, hey, Russell. So happy to be here. I'm Michelle Carlin, founder and president of Alignment Advising, a business consulting and professional development firm. And congratulations on your 100th episode. I have to say, Russell, I love what you're doing. Excited to be here today and learn from you. Even though you've allowed me to come on here, you've asked me questions, and now I get to dig deep and figure out what's going on in your brain. So thank you.
You don't want to know. Believe me.
Thank you so much.
You don't want to know. Thank you. Michelle is my go-to for a lot of different things. So she's always happy to assist me with any questions I have, and even she's helped me with my website and things like that. So please feel free to reach out to her at any time because that's what she's about, consulting. Miss Marilyn Kroc.
Mr. Russell Edmond and everybody else here, thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure. I am Marilyn Kroc, Vice President of Meeting and Partnership Sales with Visit Anaheim. Come on, California, let's reopen. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I hear the December 30th, right? Is that for Disney? Is that true?
Disneyland, the park is opening April 30th. That is correct. So that's exciting because, probably by that time we should be on the red tier. So we're hoping that they're not going to just open at 15% capacity. It's most likely going to be about 25% capacity. But just, another plug, get vaccinated and we can open up more and more. So that's
Very
my
good.
plug.
I love that.
Thank you for having me on. I'm so excited to be a part of this, and congratulations on 100 episodes. I've known you for a pretty long time myself from my LA days. I think maybe even before that from my Marriott days. So it's been fun watching you grow as well in your career and all these great things that you're doing. So thank you for having me on and being a part of this.
Oh, thank you so much. That was very nice of you to say that. Thank you so much. Marilyn is probably one of the most nicest, genuine people in the hospitality industry that I've ever come across. And I'm not just saying that's the truth. And I told you that before, so it's not the first time you ever heard that. So, but no, I do appreciate the friendship and everything. Live from Croatia, Miss Kat Von V.
Hey, everybody. Well, I happen to know some of you already. I know Sarah and Scott. Hi, Scott. Hi, Sarah. Actually, Scott introduced me to Russell. So that's like 1,000 years ago.
Small world.
Yeah.
my God.
back in the day.
Nice.
So I'm in Croatia. I'm the traveling Greek. I'm a travel writer, and I'm also a social media manager in the tech space. So I work in high tech, and yeah, I work for, among others, like Otter.ai and some other, big companies. So yeah, that's what I do. And
Thank
I write
you so
about
much.
hotels. So that's the other thing we have in common is hotels, of course.
Yes, and Kat is a former travel agent turned, content creator and things like that. So she knows everything. In fact, she's hijacked when I was at the Sheraton Universal, she kind of hijacked my social media for a day. So yeah, we go way back as well. So thank you so much for joining. I know it's probably
why aren't you in
ahead,
Greece?
Scott.
Why are you in Croatia?
Oh, that's a whole nother story. I need to have my own podcast, but no.
I didn't know it was a big thing.
So wait, I've been here since September. It's pandemic related. I can't leave. Like I can't go home and I can't leave the country. So, but it's a wonderful place. If you've not been here, definitely come. I could hook you all up.
We'll talk about that in a
I'm a
minute.
resident.
We'll talk about that in
Yes.
a minute. Okay, mute yourself. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay,
Muting.
let's reel it back in here. Okay, and then certainly, last but certainly not least, Marsha, go ahead and say something.
Hello, everyone. I'm the little sister, Marsha. Like he said, I like to travel. I try to tell all my friends about Russell of Hotels. I've known Russell the longest, I guess, we go way back. I did teach elementary school, so I think he might have needed some extra people. So he was like, Marsha, come on the show. No, I'm just kidding. But yes, I'm probably his number one fan. Sonia, his wife, can't stand when I say that, but I love my brother. He's goofy, and we don't fall far from the tree. So anyway, good to be here. Thank you, Russell. Nice meeting all of you in person. I watch the show all the time, so I feel I know everyone on the panel just through Russell of Hotels. So obviously he's doing something right. So
Wow, you think so, huh? But anyway, thank you so much. Okay, Sarah, you're on next first to ask the question because I know you have a prior commitment. But before you ask this question, I have to post something first. So next question comes from Sarah Dandashi.
Oh, that's
No, that's my new logo. That's right. Hey, thank you so much for having me on. So this is great. And okay, are you ready for your question, Russell?
Yes, I guess. Yes.
Whoa, simmer down. It's gonna be easy. It's gonna be very painless, but it's a two-parter. It's a twofer. Since you have a twofer with us,
Lord.
this is a twofer. No, it's good. It's easy stuff. Okay. How did you get started in the hospitality industry? And then what inspired you to start your podcast, your show? See, how painless is that?
Well, I don't have that much time to discuss that, but how did I get in the industry?
Okay, we don't need the encyclopedia version, just so you know.
Yeah, well, how I got in the industry, I actually went to school for it. I don't know why. Who goes to school for hospitality? But anyway, I did. I went to Cal Poly, like Leslie had mentioned earlier. Leslie and I were classmates at Cal Poly Pomona. So I actually went to school for that after going through about 3 different other majors. I kind of resonated with hospitality the best. And I think it had something to do with the hotels and not that we stayed at a lot of hotels as a kid, but it was something that was intriguing to me. So I went through the whole degree process. And then my first job was with Marriott. And in fact, I remember when I first met 2 people from Marriott. It was a job fair. It was they did it in the quad. So it was outside, right? So there's all tabletops, like 6-foot tables. And I remember the 2 people that I talked to. It was Bridget Belinsky and Sam Veneziano. Those were the 2 people that basically wrote me in, right? They said, "Oh, you're great. You're going to be a superstar," and all this stuff. And I believed the hype, right? So I signed, and I actually had a job 6 months before I graduated. So it just, kind of went from, with Marriott back then, they had an ID program where you started in there's 3 disciplines: housekeeping, restaurant, and front office. And then you could become a general manager after that. But I did a different route from there. But so basically went from housekeeping to a general manager. So I kind of rose through the ranks in about, 25 years or something like that, with some stops along the way. I mean, I went to 14 different hotels, but I actually left the industry at least 2 times during that 25 years. Right. So, but then after that, after my last job with Sheraton Universal, after that experience, that's what prompted me to get out and do my own thing, Russell of Hotels. Because if I'm going to get stressed out over some crap that I can't control, then I might as well do it for myself. So basically, that's what I did. I mean, I got tired of the mundane. These are the goals, and you got to produce, you got to do that. And I'm like, well, if I'm gonna bust my butt for this, then I might as well do it on my own. And then after the show, after I started my own business, the show came because I needed something to jumpstart, your brand, right? You need something to be a disruptor. That's what I am. I'm a marketing disruptor, right? And I thought the show was something that I was missing. So there's other people that are doing some podcasts and things like that. So I said, you know what? Let me just go ahead and try this whole podcast thing. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't do a lot of research. I just knew that I wanted to talk, and I did it. So I went to LA Talk Radio, which was kind of just like turnkey. You pay them your money, and then you basically just show up. And that's basically what I did. I showed up, and whatever was on my mind, I talked about hospitality wise, and the people in this room were so gracious to even participate in. I mean, Sarah, you being one of them, Leslie, Michelle, Marilys, Kat. I mean, all of you guys have been on the show. So, I mean, it was easy for me to do it. And the reason why I do it is because I think there's a lot of things that are missing, and I kind of keep things raw. I mean, I'm not as polished as some people that are doing podcasts, and I don't apologize for that, because my experience is my experience, right? And coming from a different perspective, I think I'm just able to resonate with a lot more people than just we're only going to talk to corporate people and all that. No, we're going to talk to everybody, because that's along my journey. Those are the people I came across. That's the people that pushed me up, or the people I came in contact with, or the people that are in my tribe or my circle, if you will. So that's why I do the show. I do the show for that, and I get a lot of people that, off the show, they'll call and text me and say, hey, I appreciate what you did. Even on Clubhouse, I've been getting a lot of things, people talking about, hey, I appreciate what you share on Clubhouse. You're raw and you keep it real. And I'm like, okay, that's what it's all about. But thank you for the question.
Woohoo! Thank you so much for having me and seeing. By the way, all these amazing people on here. I know I was that person that told you that I will have to jump off a little early, but I'm so glad that I was able to ask my question.
Yes,
and that
of
you
course.
were able to share. So can I just say one quick thing?
Of course.
Okay. He's like, she won't be quick. Oh, I hear him judging. No. Just wait. Just, by the way, stay tuned for all, because I know that obviously a lot of hospitality professionals, one of the reasons why I happen to be here in South Florida, there is this awesome conference, Hospitality 2021. The awesome Scott Eddy has put it together. I'll be helping MC, and that's why we're here. So, that's why I'm here. He doesn't know why he's here. He doesn't know why he's here. But thank you again so much for having me on. And what an amazing panel of women. I love this. So such an honor. Thank you again.
No, thank you so much. And Scott, thank you for joining in. I mean, if this is the only way I can get you to have a conversation with me,
bro, don't
fine.
even
So
start
thank
that.
You
You got my number. I'm always around. I'm the easiest person to get a hold of. Don't even start.
Or whatever.
Kat, love you.
Okay, Scott.
We have to catch up soon.
All
Bye,
the
guys.
love. All the love.
Hey, let's
oh my
talk
gosh.
soon,
Our meetings
Sarah.
are
Thank you so
happening.
much, Sarah. I'll see you on Clubhouse.
Yes.
All right. You guys take care.
Nice. Love that girl.
Hugs.
Okay. Okay, goodbye. Okay, good. Okay, they're gone. Okay, next, and I'm gonna just randomly pick some people. Marilys Crock.
Sorry, I'm
unmute yourself.
a newbie. I had to unmute myself. Which question should I ask you? I've got like a fun little list on my phone of like 5 questions, but I know that I'm limited to one. I know that you touched on
that's the easiest one out of one.
your sister and Marsha. But I want to know what women have had the most influence in your life and how.
Oh my goodness gracious. Well, you know what? It has to start with my grandmother. Because, and I think that's the reason why I'm easy talking in front of people or talking on a podcast or whatever the heck it is, because as a kid, okay, first of all, okay, let me just say this. We grew up in church, right? Okay, so I'm gonna go back to church a little bit. So I'm gonna go back, on Blythe, back in I'm not even gonna tell you the year. Doesn't matter the year, but it was a long time ago. But we grew up in church, St. Paul Baptist Church, right? And every like holidays, like Christmas, Easter, Mother's Day, maybe even Thanksgiving, they had we had programs, geared around there, and everyone had a speech to give. Either you did a speech or you had to, participate in the play. She called it a piece. Like, do you know your piece? Meaning, do you know your speech, right? So we would have to recite, and there were 6 of us, 6 grandkids, right? So we would have to recite these speeches in front of my grandmother. So she was the I don't know, the judge, if it was good or not, if you were talking too fast or going too slow, whatever. I mean, if she couldn't understand you, you had to enunciate your words, right? I mean, she never used that word, but you knew you had to be clear for her to understand you. And you had to recite it multiple times to her. And Marsha can attest to this stuff too. Although Marsha is a little younger than I am, but she had to go through the stuff too. So that she was probably the most influential as far as what I do now, as far as speaking in front of people. So Miss Verdery Love Parrish, my grandmother, she would be the most influential. But then that went to my mom, who took over after she had passed away a couple of years ago, and now my mom, but she still has the same. Of course, she was raised by my grandmother, so of course she has the same the same style and things like that. But I think my mom's a little bit tougher than no, she is tougher than my grandmother. So, but no, the most influential would be my grandmother, then followed by my mother. And then, it's probably Sonia, my wife, would probably be the next one, the third one after that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Did I answer that?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
No, that was good. That was good. Thank you. That was actually a nice question. Okay. Kat Von B.
Yay. Can you all hear me? Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. I want to know, what is your dream hotel and where would you go if you could go anywhere in the world? What hotel would you want to stay at? Any place in the world.
Gosh.
There has to be one. We all have one that we dream about, right?
You know what? I don't know the name of it. I don't even know where it is, but I can tell you it's suspended on the side of a cliff. I don't even know. I don't know if you've even seen that, where I get these whatever videos and pictures. I mean, I think I've seen it on Instagram or whatever. You know what? I don't even know where it is. I know it's in Europe. It may be like in the Swiss Alps or something, but it's basically suspended off of a mountain. So you have to, and you sleep, and the mountain or the cliff is just right. The window is facing the cliff. So, I mean, I guess if the window open, you'll plunge to your death. I don't know the name. I really don't know the name of it, but something like that, something that's maybe a little bit more adventurous, but just another, where would I want to go? I'll just take your question and go a little more. I want to go back to China, because the first time we went, we were with a tour, and you only get to see what the tour operators are showing you. I would like to go more and be on our own and just kind of explore that way. And that was probably 10, 12 years ago, where the traveling bug, I didn't have it like I do now, right? That sense of exploration and kind of giving back to the community and things like that. I didn't have that, but now that I do have that, I want to go back to China and you eat the food that the natives eat and things like that, because they take you to the restaurant they want you to go to, and the food was not. I'm like, this is not. No, this is not it. I'm missing something. So I want to go back just to explore the food, the everything.
Nice.
Did I answer that question? I'm trying to
Yes,
got away from that question, but yeah.
Meanwhile, I was trying to Google and find this hotel on a cliff,
Thank
so
you.
I'm hot on the trail.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Ms. Professor Leslie Butler.
Hello. So my question, First, I want to say you mentioned Bridget Blinsky is the person that first hired you in your professional position. And I want to let you know that Bridget has been a partner with the Collins College up until, she's still a partner, but she's recently retired from Myriad. So she's been with the company for a very long time, and I know her well. So I'll have to drop your name to her to see if it rings any bells. But anyway, so
Please
my question.
Please,
yes,
if it doesn't, I'm gonna be pissed off.
If it doesn't, if it does, either way, I'll see if she remembers you.
If it doesn't, I'm gonna be pissed off.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Right, so my question, a few of my questions have already been answered, but I wanted to ask you. This is a little bit about me being an educator, and what would you have me tell students that are in hospitality management to keep them engaged and motivated during this unprecedented time? This is just crazy. And so what would you have me say to them to keep them motivated to stay in our industry that I know you love and you know I love as well?
That's a good question. Keep someone motivated that's not really in it. Gosh, that is a good question that I might have to think about for a second. I mean, I guess almost the same as, what kept me motivated to do what I'm doing now. I mean, I had something to keep me going, and the show is what is keeping me going. I haven't stopped talking about hospitality, right? So, and I'm not going to say, is there one particular thing they need to concentrate on, but yeah, maybe there is. What is there? I mean, this is a time where you can learn more things about what you're going into. Because one thing that I do is I participate in a lot of webinars, free webinars that like MPI is giving, or Site, or what's the other one? The marketing one. What's the marketing one called? Come on, someone tell me the marketing one. Hello.
HSMAI.
Marilyn. What's the
MAI?
SSL? Yeah. Yes. That one. So yeah, I would say get engaged in those things, because as a student, those things didn't. If they didn't exist, we didn't have access to them. Okay, so right. I would say now they want student participation. So learn about what's going on in the industry. Learn about some of the challenges that are going on. And that way we can kind of figure out how to get around these obstacles, because that's one thing that we're dealing with now. And it's all about communication and learning new things and taking what you know to a different level. So I think right now is a time where we need to make sure that we are learning more about because we need to be able to add more things to our repertoire, if you will, right? I mean, one thing I learned was, okay, I call it swerving. I don't pivot. I don't use that word. I use the swerve, right? Because pivot is like, everybody's using the pivot word. Okay, I use the S word. So you swerve around it. Like, okay, so I used to be a meeting planner, right? Well, meeting planning left, right? That's gone for a while. So what do I need to do now? So, okay, well, either I concentrate more on the show, or maybe I'm starting to push people towards my website where they can make individual reservations, because obviously people aren't doing group reservations at this point, right? But there's people that are starting to travel on their own single reservations or whatever. So I push them towards my website, and then they can book a single reservation. I mean, and if anyone follows me on social media, you see that, if you're traveling, book through russellofhotels.com or whatever. Well, that's basically why I'm doing that, is because group is not happening, right? So I can sit up here and say and feel sorry for myself and say, you know what, oh, woe is me, or I can maybe try to, remedy the situation or come up with something else. So, I mean, the advice, I don't know if it was clear, but the advice, they need to swerve and learn more about the industry during this time. Concentrate on what they're doing. I mean, they're still taking classes, correct? So
Yes.
they still need to do that. But I would learn more about the industry through MPI or a lot of different organizations that are student friendly, meaning we want students to participate as well. So if that makes any sense, hopefully I answered that question.
You did. Thank you.
Okay. Very good. Thank you so much. Marsha.
They took my question, teacher. They took my question.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
We'll come up with another one. I can hear you now, yes.
Well, okay, so one question, hospitality related. Where do you want to see the industry go after COVID, and what are the changes? But what were the other majors before you got into hospitality management or hospitality?
Wait a minute. Hold on one second. I'm trying to. I need to add someone. Hold on 1 second. Wait a minute. What am I doing here? Are you guys there? I'm back, right? Is Sarah in now? Hold on 1 second. I'm just trying to add Sarah, another Sarah Good.
Sarah, my friend Sarah? There she is.
Yes. Okay. Question, Marsha. So the first question was what again?
Where do you want to see the industry go after COVID and the changes in the travel industry? And what were those other majors that you considered before getting into hospitality?
Russell, you with us?
Are we back now? Okay, I'm sorry. I guess I'm the one that's falling off. No one else is falling off. It's just me. Okay, the changes that I want to see during COVID?
After.
What are the changes that I want to see? Okay, more communication, between not just, and I'm going to take this from a hotel perspective. I think there needs to be more communication with hotels and their potential or their former guest or whatever, because I think that we're missing the point or missing the boat on, although I understand we have to do more with less, and that's what's going on with hotels and probably within CVBs as well, as Mayor Liss can attest to. But the people that are there, I hate to say it, but you got to do more with less, right? So we need to communicate more. If that's via social media, if that's being creative about how you're doing things, I think that we need to continue, communication with our guests or former guests or whatever. I mean, one thing, it always goes back for me. The reason why I became this social media expert, at least that's what I think in the hotel space, at least that's what I think of myself, is because I think we're missing the boat as hoteliers. When I was on hotels, I think we're missing the boat on that, because it would set you up for a situation just like this. I mean, no one knew that COVID was going to hit or anything like that. But even after 9/11, I mean, it doesn't even compare to that, right? Because everything is completely shut down. But how do we communicate with people if we have less people, right? So, I mean, I think that's the way that we can do it, and it's relatively inexpensive to do. I just don't think we're doing a good enough job of doing it. And I only thing I can go off of, because I subscribe to I follow a lot of hotels, a lot of CVBs, and there's only a handful. And I'll be honest, there's only a handful that I get responses from, or I get postings from, and Anaheim is one of them. So Marilyn, you're good. Anaheim is one of them, but there's some of them that are local to me that I don't get. So I'm like, what are we doing wrong? So I would say we need to do a little bit a better job of doing that. And to answer that second question was, what were the majors before I chose hospitality or hotel management? At Cal Poly, they had this degree program called operations management. It was kind of business / industrial engineering, but it was combined. It was in the School of Business though. And that was one. And I actually started off as a computer information system, but I was trying to follow someone else that was CIS major. And I took one CIS class. I'm like, this is not for me. No. So let me find something else. And then marketing was probably the number 2 one after hospitality. So what I did was majored in hotel management. At that time, it was called HRT. It was hotel, restaurant, travel management. If my memory serves me correctly, and then I minored in marketing. So I guess I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I guess I don't know. So did I answer your question? And I lost Marilyn. Did I lose Marilyn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, but okay. Well, I don't know if she's coming back on, or do I? Oh, I guess I have to bring her back again if she's there, right? Marilyn. Oh, maybe she probably took her thing off. I guess. Let's see. Let me just check.
Sorry.
She's still there, I guess.
I
thought maybe
person come.
Oh, no worries. I hope I don't get booted off again. So, Sarah Good, are you there?
Sarah, you need to unmute.
I'm here. Can you hear me now? Thanks, ladies.
Okay, I'm back for the 5th time. I'm sorry about that. I just, I don't know what's going on. It's not me. It's my technology. I'm sorry. I'm talking about technology and mine's not even working. But anyway, so the next one, but see, as in show business, you just keep going. You just go with the flow. You act like it never happened, right? So what are you guys talking about? Okay. But okay, so Miss Sarah. Okay. Sarah didn't give me a logo, so I had to improvise. So welcome, Miss Sarah Good. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing, Russell? How you doing out there?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Now, Sarah's been on the show as well, and I have to say this, from all the people, now I'm not trying to throw this out there and it's a competition or anything like that, because it's not. But for whatever reason, when Sarah was on my show, and I've told her this, I got like 5,000 views from my show on LinkedIn. That surpasses anybody that ever. I don't know why. What the heck, Sarah? I don't know. Sarah Good is a hashtag. Sarah Good is something. I don't know what that even means. But you garnered the most views from that show. I don't know why, but thank you.
Well, thank you, Russell. Thank you for having me. Maybe it was the talking about being afraid of heights or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself before you ask your question.
Sure. So I've worked in the industry for over 15 years. I worked for 5 major cruise lines. Most recently, I was working in Antarctica on an expedition ship. I have been an event planner for 9 years. I've lived in 3 foreign countries, 6 continents, over 50 countries. And now I am a corporate concierge, which I deal with mainly a lot of travel requests and other requests for a corporate client, but I will not say the corporate client at the moment.
I understand. Very good. Well, yeah. I'm just glad that you're here. I'm glad you're able to chime on and ask your question. So the floor is yours. So go ahead and ask the question, Sarah.
And which one? I'm going to do that too. Let's see. Okay, I'll go with this one. From 9/11 to the pandemic, what are 3 big takeaways that you have in our industry from the current situation and from 9/11?
I don't know if you guys can see my face, but where are you people coming up with these questions from?
My brain.
Can you say it one more time? Can you repeat it?
Sure. So from 9/11 to right now to the pandemic, what are 3 big takeaways that you have from both of those situations in our industry?
Okay. And you guys may not agree with all these, the 3 of them. Okay. One thing, housekeeping is sexy. And I'm gonna explain what that means, okay? Before, housekeeping departments were basically, they call them, everything is separated in hotels as front of the house and back of the house. So you didn't really communicate with, housekeeping, the department or the housekeepers individually or anything like that. But because of this whole COVID thing, cleaning is important now, and visually seeing cleaning is important. So that's what I mean. And I mentioned this on my show probably 6-7 months ago, that housekeeping is gonna be sexy now because people want to see it, right? Because they want to see, like, Marriott came out with this new, it's called this electrostat machine that's basically sprays these, I don't know, it sanitizes things in the air and whatever the surfaces or whatever. It's like this cool, like, little gun, like the futuristic gun. Well, people want to see that, right? They want to see that. They want to see people cleaning. They want to see people with their masks. They want to see all this stuff, their gloves and all that stuff. They want to see that. So that's one thing. So keeping housekeeping or bringing it back to sexy is one. 2, people are learning now that it's working from home works. Remote working. I mean, that's, for some of us, that's not a good thing, because of the long-term ramifications or long-term effects it may have on our industry. Okay, so because the more people that can work from home, the less people they're gonna travel for meetings. I mean, that's where it hits me, right? So, but I have to be honest and just say, I mean, it is what it is, right? So I mean, that's one thing that I just have to. If someone asks me a question, I'm say, because I get this question all the time. When do you think meetings are going to bounce back? And I always say, I'll tell you, when it first happened back, I guess a year ago now, right? I said 18 to 24 months. That's what I said a year ago. I said 18 to 24 months. Now I'm asked that same question. What do you think? You still think, you're right on that? I said, I'm not trying to be right. I'm just saying it's not the industry. I mean, we want to go back to work, right? But you got to think about it like this. The companies that have downsized, that have started to do more with less, and they're getting more out of their employees because they're working at home, right? Those are the companies or the CEOs or whatever, those are the people that are making the decisions. It's not us, the meeting planners, right, that are making the decisions. Because if it was up to us, we'd be like, shit, let's start. I'm sorry, shoot. My mom's listening to this. But I got some explaining to do now, but yeah. So I lost my train of thought. But no, we have to make sure that, like I said, the CEOs are making the decisions. But if it was up to us, we would go back to having meetings now, right? Because I mean, you see a lot of people that are saying, let's go back, and we're waiting for California to go back and this and that. Yeah, we're all waiting for California to come up with a protocol of what we need to do, right? But bottom line, how it works, and everyone, if you don't know it, you should know it. Leisure and individual travels will bounce back first, and then hopefully, the groups will follow that. But from what I've seen and what I've heard, maybe, and Mayor Leskman probably can tell me a little different, but it's based on her experiences in Anaheim. But first quarter next year, maybe end of this year, you may start seeing more. And what I mean by meetings, not the grandiose meetings that we're used to, maybe smaller ones. No.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go.
No, you're right. I think, you're talking about the leisure, the drive market. I think that those, of course, are going to be the first things that are going to come back. And then based on guidelines provided by the governor, we're going to look at, smaller meetings, of course. I think that with LA coming back like the school coming back and it being a 3-foot social distancing with schools, that we might also incorporate that with meetings. So I think we will probably look at meetings with social distancing guidelines still in place. Of course, there would be max capacities, just like any other state where they're at 250 max or, whatnot, but definitely along those lines. But definitely we'll start with small meetings before we can, go into larger citywide conventions for sure. And there's always going to be the technical aspect of it that's going to be a part of, everything with regards to meetings moving forward. So it's a matter of combining that and seeing what we could do in person as well as virtually.
Very good. Okay. So I'm kind of right on. I remember this friend of mine. He asked me, okay, and I know, Sarah, I'm going a roundabout way to get to this second one, but it's important, right? It has to do with the remote working, but this is important, right? A meeting planner friend of mine, and I'll mention his name, Ricky Hopkins. He asked me. He said, "What do you think?" He asked me the same kind of question about when meetings are going to come back, and I said, and this is what I told him. I said, it's going to be, I said, when meetings come back, it's going to be 70-30. 70% are going to be virtual and 30% are going to be in person. And he said, you mean the other way around, right? I said, no. I said, because you haven't dealt with the corporate situation, meaning HR and human resources and putting people at risk and all this kind of stuff. I mean, a lot of people haven't thought about that, but I mean, those are things. And I just happen to have this good friend that's an employment attorney, right? So I had a conversation with him, and it didn't even start off like this, but it just kind of morphed into another conversation. And it was on Saturday night of all times that we're talking about this stuff. So, and I asked him, I said, well, what are your clients saying? He said, well, they've learned to do things from home or not travel as much or whatever. He said, we know that the human aspect is people need to meet. He said they understand that part of it, but they're telling their clients, or he's telling their clients that, it's not advisable that you send a bunch of people to meetings anymore. I mean, that's just what he said. I'm like, wow, that's something right there. He said, well, you going to share this on your show? I was like, yeah, heck yeah, this is good information, man. So, but thank you. So, but yeah, so I have to go off of what, and it's just not my gut. It's things that I've heard, things that I read, people that I've talked to. So, I mean, I'm coming up with this information. So the second one would be remote working. I know I went around about sort of way, but it's remote working does work, or it has worked for some companies. And the third one would be, well, I got two of them. Doing more with less. I mean, that's one thing we have to do. I don't know if I brought that up already, but doing more with less. I mean, you got some hotels that, and I'll just mention my friend Natalie, who's a director of sales. I mean, she's working at the front desk right now. I mean, she's doing things at the front desk. She's helping the housekeeping. She's and then she's doing her director of sales work. So I mean, that's basically what hotels, the small hotels, that's what they're doing, right? So they don't have a choice. I mean, a guy I know at one of the boutique hotels downtown, he's a general manager, but I mean, he's wearing many hats now because he doesn't have enough people to do some of these things. So yeah, doing more with less. And I'll give you one more: communication. Regardless of what's going on, we need to communicate. We need to communicate within our hotels, and we need to communicate out to our communities, right? Because one thing that I don't think, and it goes back to the whole, what I mentioned a while ago, social media piece of it. I just don't think we're putting out enough information. And I think that, and Anaheim has done a great job in this, and I'm glad you're on here so you can hear me say it. But yeah, Anaheim has done a great job on this of communicating what's going on, what's open and what's going to open and how we're going to do this. I mean, before the governor gives whatever his blessings or whatever it is, but Anaheim has been on the forefront, and that's important to the hotel community and to the restaurant, or just the community of that destination. And from what I've seen, a lot of CVBs or DMOs, they're not the mouthpiece of their destinations. They're allowing the hotel to just kind of come up with their own thing. And the hotels can do whatever they want to do, right? But I think it needs to speak from one mouthpiece. And I think the DMOs or the CVBs are that mouthpiece. I just think they need to have more of a voice right now, because some hotels are closed, right? Or maybe they're not operating, close to whatever they need to be. And then, and on the same hand, I know there's some DMOs that they're struggling as well because they're funded by the hotels, right? So if there's no occupancy, so it's a catch-22. But I just think whenever the DMOs, let's say they get back, they need to be the mouthpiece for that destination. So hopefully that answered that question. Well, anyone else have any other questions? I mean, this is 151.
I got one.
Yes.
No, I wasn't going to let you off that easy. I feel like this is like an interviewee question, but I think this is going to be a good one to close with. I don't know. Here we go. If there was a woman that you could interview, alive or dead, who would it be and why?
Oh my goodness.
Alive
a woman that I could, alive or deceased, who would I want to interview? Gosh, I'm alive or deceased.
He interviewed me.
Yeah, I've already done it. I've done every interview that I want to do. No, I'm joking. It probably would be, when people, and then I'm just good. It's a family member, and this I already mentioned her is my grandmother, right? So there's questions that now as you get older, you should have asked. Some of the things that they dealt with back in the. She came to Blythe from back in she was born in the 20s, right? So she came to Blythe maybe in the early 30s. There's bits and pieces of stuff that she said, but I don't really remember a lot of it. But just the journey, back then, how you got from Oklahoma to Blythe. It's hard enough these days going from Oklahoma to Blythe, but you're going from, in a car or a vehicle or whatever that's not like that we're used to now. Is different. So, and just the whole life and just things they had to deal with and struggle with. And I remember my grandmother didn't she drove locally, but she didn't drive out of town, right? So she didn't drive, she never left Blythe, right? Other than my grandfather owned a trucking company, right? So if he had a truck that was out in the countryside, so to speak, say 10 miles away, she would go and pick him up and that kind of stuff. Okay, that's different, right? But to leave and like go to Indio or to Palm Springs or something like that was unheard of for her to get in the car. In fact, my mom doesn't even do that. So, but anyway, so I don't know why I said that, but just the way of life back then. I just wanted to ask her, how do you deal with certain things? How do you get to this point, or what advice do you have for us? That kind of stuff. So my advice to anybody now, if you have, grandparents and uncles and aunts that are, from another generation, ask them these questions, especially people of color, right? Because our journey was different, for a lot of people. And I'm not afraid to say it. It is what it is, right? But I embrace that, and I'm not afraid to talk about or ask those questions. But, just to see how they dealt with certain things. I think that would be, and she would be the person I would want to interview again. And I would ask her if let's say she knew about this podcast, what would she think about that? What would you say about this podcast? Would you want to be on the show? Would you want to talk about certain things? What would you do? What would you talk about if you had a podcast? Just things like that. So that's a good question. Thank you so much for asking me that question. I didn't expect that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marilyn. Anyone else have any other questions before we wrap it up? Sarah, you look like you have a question. What's going on? You have that look in your eyes.
No, it's okay.
Wait, you don't want to ask another question? And Michelle told me she got kicked off. So Michelle getting kicked off means I'm going to kick myself off. Hopefully I don't get kicked off again.
No, Michelle's
Let's
here
see.
and she's
Hold
back.
on, add Michelle back. Oh, kicked off again. Okay, well I just added.
Russell? Yay! Are you
But
there?
hopefully, I'm not gonna because I don't want to get kicked off.
Can you hear
Can
me?
you hear me, Michelle? Yeah.
I
Okay,
hear you.
seriously, Russell, you're talking to yourself.
Yeah, I think he just got booted off.
I see an arm. Is that his arm? Oh no, that's your arm.
I don't know. Is he there? No, he's kicked off.
He got kicked off.
See, me people getting kicked off and me adding people back is a disaster. That's a disaster. Thank you so much, Michelle, for getting kicked off. I appreciate that. Kat, do you have a question?
I didn't get to ask a question.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get out the show because I know your questions are going to be harder.
No, it's not, Russell. I promise. I promise. Being a fellow Cal Poly Pomona Bronco alum, you're in good company here. So,
Okay, what's your
my
question, lady?
to you is, what have you learned about yourself during the pandemic that surprised you the most?
That I don't have to leave the house.
Oh, come on. That's not about you. About you personally.
Well, I mean, I think it's in the same vein that I can be, productivity is important, right? So, I mean, I can still do some of the things from home that I thought I needed to do outside of home. I mean, meaning, the going to the hotels or having conversations. So it just allowed me to be more creative about how I communicated with people. And if that's through Zoom, which, of course, all of us have done huge Zoom things, Zoom conferences or Zoom meetings or just one-on-one Zoom. So technology has been a big part of it, providing that it works, right? That you don't get kicked off. But yeah, so that's been I think that's been the key to a lot of different things. Just figuring out that you can still be productive, maybe sometimes even more productive, because I don't have to get dressed or anything like that. I mean, if you guys, I dress from the waist up, right? From the waist down, I have on sweats, right? And I have no shoes on. So, I mean, there you go. So, so just being able to roll out of bed and get on a call if that's what you need to do, or to learn something on through webinars and things like that. And I've done probably, I don't know, 20 different webinars since this whole thing. And I could have done more, but I just, maybe just the lack of time or whatever. But I think it's just important that, we learn, and however the situation is, you need to learn or take advantage of that. And I mean, I read more. And people know I'm not a big reader. But guess what? I've been reading more subjects that I haven't ever thought about reading before. I watch more Netflix, but they're documentaries based on true stories, right? Or whatever that is. So I didn't do that before. I watch movies, but not documentaries based on, some true to life, whatever. And one that I would mention, speaking of a documentary, has to do with hotels. It's the crime scene at the what is it called? The hotel.
Yeah.
What is it?
I know what you're talking about.
The Cecil Hotel Cecil.
Yes.
So if you have not seen that one, you need to check that one out, because the whole thing from start to finish, I mean, just dealing with, you got the GM in there, you got some hotel workers, and anybody that's worked in a hotel, this kind of resonates with you, like, situations that can come up, right? Not necessarily the demise of a person, but, things that come up and questions you have to answer and all this kind of stuff. And just to be out of a hotel and all this kind of stuff. And believe me, I had, well, why did she do this? And why did she do that? You have that kind of, you're watching it and you're listening and you're like, well, would I have done that any differently? Or how would I have, handled that situation? So, but it's an interesting thing. So it has some twists and turns in it. But yeah, Michelle, just basically, technology has been my friend, and just learning more from that. Thank you for that
Awesome.
question. You want to ask another one? You want to ask one more?
Me?
Yeah,
Well,
if
now
want
you
to.
put me on the spot. I have a whole bunch of questions.
No. The one more simple question, nothing too hard, okay? And then we're gonna wrap it up, okay? Since you got knocked out, so.
Who has helped you the most in the last year that you attribute your success to?
No one. No, I'm joking.
Oh,
that was a joke.
come on.
That was a joke. I can be funny, right? I can be funny, right?
I'm just teasing you right back.
I can say that it hasn't been one person. It hasn't been one person because no one can get through this just, by themselves. But I'll just say this: some of the people in this room have helped me, get through certain things. I mean, just having conversations about websites, or because this is the time you need to kind of, up your game, if you will, right? So, some of the people in the room, you, Michelle, you've helped me with certain things. Sarah, Kat, although we haven't talked more or less, you send me things, I see these things, and those things, they help me have conversations with other people. So if we're talking about, because everything comes back, it comes down to hotels or destinations, right? So most conversations I have to do with that. Like, what's going on in Southern California? Well, Anaheim, they're doing this. You know what I mean? So and I thank you for sending me that stuff because I have something to talk about, right? So Leslie, I don't know if you helped me out, Leslie, this year. Maybe have we talked? I don't know. Maybe not. Marsha, Marsha's helped me out. So it's not one person that's helped me out. There's a myriad of people that have helped me get through this. My mom, just conversations or whatever. Those things. A bunch of people have helped me. So that's a good
awesome.
question too. There's no bad questions here. Thank you so much. So, is there anything else? It's 2:02. We normally. There's one thing about having my own platform. I can go as long as I want to go now, or I can stop when I want to stop. So I'm just gonna ask if there are any other questions. Professor Leslie, you have any questions for me? Or Marsha, you have a question? Marilyn, you have another one? Kat?
I was chatting with Marsha in the private chat about when you mentioned you were from Oklahoma, and of course,
no, I'm not from
Oklahoma. Your grandmother was from Oklahoma, so you have family, right? And so I said, "Oh, I have family in Oklahoma." I stand corrected, but yeah, so it's a small world. Marsha and I were talking, and you still have family in Oklahoma. I don't know if you know that or not, but we were talking about that. So cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we do. Yeah, I don't know. Do I know them? Yeah, I guess we do. Yeah, okay. Yeah, kind of, sort of. But I didn't know. Did I know you're from Oklahoma?
I don't think so. I don't know. We've never talked about that. I don't know why. We talk about everything else. So
I don't know why either, Professor. But okay. Thank you so much. So what's going on at the school? Are people on pace,
campus,
are scheduled to graduate and things like that, or are we having classes in person?
No, only certain classes are face-to-face. Those research lab-based classes are meeting in person. We personally don't have any meeting in person at our college. However, in the fall, they would like to have at least 20% of classes meeting from each college face-to-face. So they're making plans to have some of us come back in the fall. It just depends on, much like what was said, what's happening in California with our tiers and what tier we're in. So it's ever changing. I hope that the tiers improve and we can open back more, but it just depends on, like you said, we're at the mercy of what comes from our elected officials, which that question about the three things that you've learned in the pandemic. And one of the things I thought you might mention is that, we're all governed by just our politics and what media says we should be doing. So we're kind of in a tough situation, but we want to get back on campus, and we hope to have more of us there in the fall.
I have
Very
a question.
good. All right.
I do have
Yes.
a question. Okay, these are for the other panelists. What was your guys' major, or what, you know, how did you guys get into what you guys are doing now, since we have time?
Kat?
I'll start, I guess. Okay, I dropped out of college twice. I was not a college girl. I wanted to make money. That's all that mattered to me. So, yeah. So I became a travel agent, made no money, and for many years. But yeah, now I'm a travel writer and a social media manager for tech, so I do much better. But yeah, it's weird because I work with PhDs and machine learning people, professors. I don't even know, and I'm like, I just stare at them like they're speaking a foreign language. But it's cool. I can tweet. That's my talent.
You're very talented, Kat.
Oh, thank you.
Don't sell yourself short.
Sarah, you go. Your turn.
I majored in travel and hospitality administration. And for my associates, and my bachelor's actually is in liberal studies because I chose a school that didn't have a 4-year degree in travel and hospitality. And I was going to transfer, but I did not. I went to an all-women's college in Massachusetts. And I had a great experience, and I really got some great practical skills, and I'm still working in the field. So I see it as a win-win. Thanks for the question.
Thank you. I'm always curious as to how people got to where they got to.
And Michelle, did you drop off?
Oh, no.
Well, okay. Well, hey. Well, thanks for joining us. So I know if I have to add someone in again, I got disconnected. I actually have to go. Okay, thanks for including this. She's gone though. Okay, so thank you so much, Michelle Carlin, for being on the show. Thank you, Sarah Good, Sarah Dendashi, Kat Von B, Professor Leslie Butler, Marsha Edmond, instructor extraordinaire. Who else am I missing? Mr. Scott Eddy did a guest. What do you call it? What do you call it? A guest. What?
Yeah, a guest slot, like a guest appearance.
A guest appearance. He did a guest appearance. Miss Marilis Crock, thank you so much with Visit Anaheim. We appreciate you coming on as well. So thank you for everyone that's joined me. I mean, we did go a little over, like 8 minutes over, but that's okay. Like I said, I have my own platform, so we can do whatever we want to do. And plus, it's the 100th show. So how many times do you have a 100th show? You don't only have that once in a lifetime, if you even get there, right? So, but thank you guys so much. I mean, you guys are on the show because obviously, or everyone that's been on the show, obviously you guys resonate with something with me. You guys are special to me, your friends, and the people that I can call on, people that I appreciate our friendship. So I do appreciate it. I mean, it wasn't just, I just started adding names. No, I specifically added you guys to do it. So I'm just glad that you guys are able to join me for a brief period of time. And thank you so much. And if with no other questions,
Wait, did Leslie answer my question?
I did not, but that's because Russell and I were classmates at Cal Poly Pomona. So
what does that have to do with anything? Answer the question, Leslie.
We went to school together. Cal Poly Pomona.
What does that have to do with you? What does that have to do with the
management?
Question? Okay, where'd you start off, Leslie?
Well, where did I start? I've always started in hospitality.
Let me ask this question. Let me just ask this.
Yes.
Question. Did you go to Cal Poly to major in hospitality? Is that why you went to Cal Poly? Did you go for that program?
Yes.
Because I did. Not many people did.
Well, I was focused. What can I say?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Very good, Leslie. Okay. You need to keep in touch, Leslie. We need to talk more. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. You said that the last time I saw you. But anyway, whatever. That's like 2 years ago. But anyway, all right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me on Air with Russell Hotels for that 100th show.
Thank you.
Once again, happy
for the
International
invite.
Women's Month. I do appreciate it. Kat, when you leaving Croatia anytime soon? No? Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay, they just gave me residency till the end of the year, just in case COVID goes on. I literally will have been here. I don't even know how long. I've lost track. It's 7 months so far, I think.
Wow.
I like
Okay.
it.
Maybe
I like it.
maybe I'll go there before you leave. Maybe I'll go. At least I got somebody to come see in Croatia now, right?
Somebody's got to come visit me. Sarah, come visit
I
me.
know. Let's go together. I'll go.
I know.
Let's go.
All right. You
visit
guys
me,
take
somebody.
care.
Bye, guys.
Thanks again. I
Bye.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
You guys take care.